Yo, 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 yo. We are live, like 95, like my dog Law Nation says. We are here. We are back. It's Burgers and Blitzes. You know what it is, right? We got the dub. And I'm going to give you props before I introduce you because everybody knows who the hell you are. But I'm going to give you some props, Mike, because didn't you say on here, get 21 points, we win?
Yeah,
You did say that.
that's exactly what I
You
said.
did say that.
Like word for
You
word.
said, you said, you said 21 points and we're out of here. There it is. So,
Yeah,
I'm excited. But before we jump into anything else, how you doing, Mike?
doing well, but hey, jump your audio input up a little bit.
My audio?
Yeah,
Probably got.
your
Can you hear me
input
now?
up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. There you go. He was he was a little sleepy.
Cool.
So
All right. Cool.
uh
Cool. Cool.
yeah, that's I mean, outside of hell you could have scored more than that, but
Hmm.
miscommunication here,
Hmm.
miscommunication there. But the point is you were able to survive that. We have seen this team multiple times over the years not be able to survive that. And that is something
Hmm.
that pick and that a fumble here is something that happens to every single team basically every single weekend. And a lot of the times, especially here, well, a lot of times they survive it, but here that doesn't necessarily happen. Um, so I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried, but it was just a weird deal, man. You get an hour and a half rain delay, and the field, it was just get in there and get away from that damn Steeler voodoo because we all know how they do. It's just some reason they're an 8 to 10 win team every single damn year, and nobody can explain it. They ain't scored they have. I don't think they've thrown a passing touchdown all year. Like,
Yeah.
it's that's where they're at, and for somehow they just keep coming up with wins. You're down four edge rushers because I mean you lost Breland what 5 minutes into the game. If that, I mean it was freaking early. So you're down four
Hmm.
edge rushers.
It was like the
Your
first four plays.
your offensive line starts taking shots. You know, and I think what the final offensive line on that game winning drive was like what Hoffman and BV and Bass and they were dude. It was held together with duct tape, and it's kind of ironic. You ask and you shall receive. I've complained for years and years and years about the week 5 bye. Well, I'd love that week 5 bye right about now. I would love me a week 5 bye because now we got to go up there. Oh, at least they're coming here, but they're going to be coming back for a vengeance. But that's exactly. I mean, obviously not as muddy, but that's about what I expected that game to look like. Um, without the circumstances that caused it. I expected a low scoring, muddy game. Like the over under was 44. And I was
Hmm.
talking about that on Thursday. I was like, I guess they think Dallas is going to score 37 points because Pittsburgh don't score. And they didn't score. And now you get to this week, you got to score. We need 40. Uh oh. Oh, damn. I was over here ranting. What's up, everybody? Daniel, T Smooth, Ninja, Miguel. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? So, I don't know when you fell off, but I was going to say, that's Pittsburgh can score, and you can now this week. You're going to need 40
Hmm.
unless your defense is going to get the ball back because they hadn't been
Right.
getting.
Right. Well, um, I mean, damn. When you look at that game, Mike, when I see that Steelers game, first of all, I'm glad we beat the Steelers. That's one of my most hated teams out of my top five most hated teams. They're in that top five in no certain order. But let's be real. It was a gutsy victory. It was a great come behind victory, especially when you looked at the situation, what was going on with your offensive line. As you said, you were shuffling, you were moving around, guys were getting in, guys were going out. But the turnovers, the block field goal, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things was just going wrong. And like to your point, Mike, Dallas usually lose those type of games. When you have all of those things working against you, that's where Dallas usually lose those games. So it was a big thing, in my opinion, that you actually persevered through that and the game winning drive. But let's be honest though, too, we weren't afraid of no Justin Fields at all,
No, no,
right?
not Justin Fields, but Pittsburgh as a whole. They are. I mean, there's a reason they are who they are, and it's a nature of the product. It's almost like that iron sharpens iron type thing. They got to face the Ravens guaranteed 2 times a year,
Mm-hmm.
and the Ravens play hard as fuck. And if you don't come ready to play, you're gonna get sent home. And
Right.
they've just, I mean, think about all those historic battles you've had with the Ravens and the Steelers over the years and what they're built for. They're built different and they're well run organizations. I mean, Mike Tomlin's what, the third coach since their inception? Literally, third coach. Hell,
Mm-hmm.
Carolina's been through 3 in 2 years. About to go
Right.
through another. So, it's just, I'm jealous. I've hated them, but I've always been, same thing with Ravens. I, with the way Ozzy ran that program for years and years and years, I mean, there's just every single year you can count on Pittsburgh and Baltimore being, if not top five, top 10 on defense and special teams. And you're not going to see them do a lot of dumbass mistakes, like penalty wise, pre snap penalty wise, or holding or something like that, that cost them a game. And must be nice, you know. But so anytime you can go and steal one from one of those guys, that's a damn good win.
Yeah.
And
Especially on the
nobody
road.
picked, nope, yeah, nobody picked Dallas to win. Nobody, everybody, we were a 5.5, was a 5.5 point dog or some crap like that going into the game. And I'm like,
Mm.
cool. And then we go win, and it's like, well, it's Justin Fields and the Steelers are rebuilt. No, man, no, 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 no. And what's going to happen is they're going to lose next week too, because correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm hip shooting this. Nobody that's played Dallas has won the next week.
Hmm. That's interesting. I haven't I thought of that, but yeah, people can
Cleveland,
check in there.
Cleveland
I mean, counting
lost.
Cleveland.
I would say New Orleans lost. Ravens, did they go lose the next week?
They did lose them this week, but yeah, they've been kind of turning up. So
They
they
should have
kind of
lost. They should have lost this week.
yeah, they should have
That's
lost against them Bengals. They should
Then
have
you get
lost
the
with them.
narrative, man. That's such bullshit. I saw that, man. And I don't even watch those shows. It was just I was eating lunch and I saw it. I took a picture of it as uh old boy's son was talking about how did Lamar Jackson bring them back to win the game in overtime. I'm like, Lamar Jackson caused overtime. It didn't even touch the. All he did in overtime was hand the ball off. That dude fumbled the snap away, fumbled the game away. It was over. It's the way people watch these games that's what tilts me off online. It's like you won't keep that same energy. All we want to that goes out there and wins the game in the fourth quarter, and all we want to talk about is a pick that happened 3 quarters ago.
Right.
It's annoying, man. But it's a broken record. It's Groundhog Day. The goalpost is ever moving. Speaking of
Yeah, but
goalposts, shout out to
we should
Vandy.
already know that by now. Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Vandy.
Vandy.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to. Well, let me give another shout out. Shout out to the University of California too, because they beat them Hurricanes, and my cousin was turning up in that game. He had 6 tackles, 2 pass deflections. He played for the University of LSU his first year. He transferred to the University of California. Now he's one of the starting nickel corner safeties, and they turned up against the Miami Hurricanes. So shout out to Vandy and shout out to University of Cal. Ryan Yates, number 9, Rondo number 9. Make sure you check him out. True sophomore back there turning up. So I had to get this up his foot because he's out there killing it. But to your point, Mike, people can't hate on this victory. They can say what they want, but people are talking about Steelers were one of the better teams in the league. You go in there and play them in their house. Yeah, they did. Now I will tell you, they had some injuries too because of Highsmith. He was out that game, right? He was out that game. That made a difference. And then 51, who was killing Guyton. We were happy he went out in the game because he was killing Guyton. Um, Let me talk to you about that. What do you think about the Guyton situation? Um, Obviously, there's a lot of people talking about him right now. I think he's got like 4 sacks already given up, got like 8 or 9 penalties. What do you think about the situation with Guyton? Are you feeling comfortable still with him at left tackle? Let's keep it moving. He got to keep getting the experience because Tyler Smith came in there and whooped ass at that left tackle. What do you feel? Keep on having Guyton in there and don't mess up anything and just let him continue to take his lumps?
The Tyler Smith left tackle train has left the station long ago.
Right, for
I
sure.
was the one pounding the table. You drafted him to replace Tyron, and you didn't do it. You stuck him at guard. He's
I
at guard.
pounded as well.
Period.
Hmm.
Period. He's at guard. Period. And I knew this shit was going to happen. Guyton's still raw. He is not the prospect that Tyron Smith was, and this is literally the rebadged Tyron Smith talking points from his rookie year. The penalties, the holds, the power with the struggle with power rushers. It's all there. And Guyton is not the prospect that Tyron Smith was. Tyron Smith was a top. I mean, if you don't want to go by position, he was probably a top 3, 5 prospect in that draft.
Hmm.
And that's not what Guyton was or is. So he's going to take his lumps. But if you want to jack him around and move positions and this, that, and the other, what are you going to do with he let him take his lumps? That's the same thing they did with Terrence Steele, and he came out of the iron for it. They sacrificed Brandon Whedon for Terrence Steele, and or it might have hell was it Brand? Yeah, that's still Brandon Whedon was still here. Yeah, it was. He was. Um, and you got to play him. You want to play him at the position he's going to play at, and you don't reshuffle your entire line because one player may or may not be struggling. And let's not forget, he has faced the absolute murderer's row. We talked about this coming in the season. The murderer's row of edge rushers this year, coming
Hmm.
straight out the
Hmm.
gate, straight out the gate. And you know, people will say, he gave up, 1 sack and 2 pressures, and say he got his ass kicked all game. I'm like, man, there was 65 snaps. He lost 3 of them, so he sucked. I mean, I guess that's the measure that we go by on offensive line, but at the same time, that edge that he was going against only got 1 sack and 2 pressures the entire game. So, you can't have it both ways.
Right, and we had already talked about this, Mike. The man has not played left tackle, and I mean he was a right tackle. We knew when they put switching to left tackle. We talked about it ourselves. This was going to be some growing pains. We knew this was going to happen. So this is
Hmm.
not something that we should be astonished by. Everybody who's seen this should already know that this would be happening. You know what I mean? And like you just said, murder's row for all the defensive end he's been going that have been going after him or he's been having to deal with for the first 5 weeks of the season. So if anything, this fire that he's getting right now is only going to make him better. You get what I'm saying? So I'm with keeping him there. We should already know that there was going to be serious bumps in the road, but he should be able to come out this just like you said with Terrence Steele. We threw Terrence Steele in there. Dallas threw Terrence Steele in there undrafted, right? Undrafted,
Let
and
him take his lumps.
he got he got his ass kicked. Especially remember that Miles Garrett Cleveland game. He got his ass kicked, but guess what? He became better because of it. It helped him reward that contract. He became a better player because of that experience. You're not going to learn by sitting on the bench. So, hey, the rookies, BB, Guyton, they're going to take the lumps, but this is what you want for the future as far as your offensive line going down the thing. Now, let's talk about another player. We're going to talk about Dak a little bit, but let's talk about those unsung heroes. Rico Dowdle. We have been talking about him. We even said, hey, we need something. The running back room is not looking good. Uh, Somebody got to give us some kind of juice. But here's the thing, though, Mike. This is what I like. He had 20 carries. Too many times I feel like, and I want to get your opinion on it. Too many times I feel like the Cowboys get a couple good runs with Rico, and then all of a sudden they go away and start throwing 5 or 6 times. I get it, but right now we probably need to establish a little bit of run game since it's not that it hasn't been good. And to me, they actually stuck with it. 20 carries, they end up having 31 carries. I said 30-30 club. You would go to 30-30 club, you get 35 carries this game, you're going to win. They had 31. But I think that was the most attempts that they had all season as a team in rushing, and we saw what happened with the benefit of it. Talk to me about Rico. How did you feel he played that game? 20 carries, 87 yards. Not world beater, but it definitely kept them honest. And shout out to everybody in the building. Keep on coming in here. What are your thoughts about Rico Dowdle?
Oh man, I was really happy about what I saw. But then, with the game on the line, you cut to the inside and fumble the ball,
That
and I'm like, "Damn it, dude!"
would have
And
been
I'm watching,
disastrous, right?
yeah, and I'm watching Hunter. I'm watching Hunter clean pay dirt. You know, and you take your left hand, you grab that big white boy's belt buckle, and you follow him wherever the hell he's going. Because wherever he's going, motherfuckers are moving out the way. That
Hey,
dude,
Hunter looking nice out there. Hunter,
that
remember when
dude
you
was
was like,
rough.
you was wondering about him, right? You was wondering about him, like you said, hey, how is he still on the roster? Now you see his value on the roster. We knew his value,
Hey,
but
I was saying if they didn't use it, they didn't use it. Like, I'm, it's worth questioning every roster spot when you're not using guys. You bring a Zeke in and you give him, he's active for 3 snaps. And I wanted to see him get work. And I said, coming into this game, I said, put the run game on Hunter's back. And at the same time, that worked for Dowdle too. It's like just put the run game on somebody's back for a half, not this series here, series there, series here, series there. Put it on their back for a half. Let them get a little bit of flow because even the running back by committee people like with Kansas City and San Francisco and them, they don't go a series by series by series. Let you get a couple series in, and maybe situational football may change that. If you're going to a third and short or something like that, which, why wouldn't Zeke on the field with the game on the line when that's the reason
man,
he's
I mean,
here?
that's why you got him, right? That's why you picked him up for the inside the 20, inside 10. That's why you picked him up. I was very curious as well as why he was not in that game because that threw me off. You know what I'm saying? That threw me off.
It was
Um,
it's McCarthy coaching, man, 6 days a week. He fucked up going into the second and out of the first half too. With that wasted that challenge, and then you burn. He just loves throwing away time at the end of the first half, and the clock management at the end of the game. It's just he tried to cost you that game. He really did. And with those type of decisions, it's like you sleep at the wheels. Like you got Zeke sitting on the sideline. We know Dowdle ain't that the one reason besides Dak likes him and the kids like him. He likes to take funny photos of people and stuff. The other reason that Zeke's here is short yardage. He hasn't scored a
mhm.
touchdown outside the red zone since 2019. Actually, sorry,
Well,
I'm
he
sorry.
scored. No, he scored. He
One,
scored against Cleveland.
one. He scored one touchdown outside the red zone since 2019. One. If that was any other running back, you would be mad about him being on the team. And people see the
Hmm.
name on the back of the jersey and get all emotional. But the fact of the matter is, when I'm saying why wasn't he on the field, when I'm arguably the biggest Zeke hater or whatever,
Hmm.
What are we doing here?
That's what you
That's
brought
what
him.
what
That's what you brought him in for.
that's the reason he's here. That is the
Mm-hmm.
entire purpose.
Yep.
And instead of doing that, you end up having to. Dak will lose the. Dak loses the game if Tolbert drops that pass,
Right.
or the DB makes a good play, or they get called for that pick. Because they try to shove CD into him. All that shit. Like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dak loses that game. That's how
Mm-hmm.
close you were to it. And I go, man, I hated the play call. I love the big nuts, but I guess you had to do what you had to do. But man, why is your short yardage back? Not was he already? I wonder if he was already. I talked about that coming into the game, the shoulder, and I wonder he's old. I've actually never pieced this together till right now. It's Pittsburgh, it's raining, it's humid. He's get high mileage. He's been sitting there for probably 30, 40 minutes of game, of real clock time, just hanging out. Maybe it's not the best idea to send him out there in that moment and watch him
Mm-hmm.
try to, break everything free to get out on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, definitely feel what you're talking about. But in this aspect, this is where you brought him in, and
Yeah.
he's a pro. He's been there. He's done that. I feel like he's been there. He's done that. He should be able to jump right in there. And that's the biggest thing. This is what you brought him here for. And that could have been, I mean, if Rico Dowdle's in there and he fumbles and we don't recover it, that's all the talk of
Okay.
the town. What everybody's gonna talk about all night and the next day. Why wasn't Zeke in there? Why wasn't Zeke in there? That's what you brought him in there for. That's what you brought him in there for. So I'm glad you feel me that it didn't turn out
$60
that way.
million
But that's
for
what
three turnovers, that we
that
never hear the end of.
yep, yep. We wouldn't have never heard the end of it. And I'm so glad he won that game because that kept them
Dude,
at bay, the haters at bay for a few,
they're
because they
waiting.
were ready. They were
Dude,
waiting for it. They were waiting
and
for that
we can't,
pass,
you should
Tolbert to
see,
drop that pass. Yeah, they were waiting for him to. They were waiting so
I
they could
wish,
pounce on him.
I wish people could see my mentions when Dak makes one bad play.
Oh,
That it could
see,
be
that's why you
first
shouldn't have
quarter.
paid him that money. Yep, yep.
First quarter, and it's not even a pick or anything. Just like maybe missed him by 2 feet, or football's hard and just it's like, dude, that's why I be going so hard sometimes. And I hurt
Hmm.
motherfuckers' feelings, but I'm not sorry. You know, like Jay Lou said, if I said something disrespectful, I'll probably say it again.
He said, "I don't even remember what I be saying at the time, but if I did say something disrespectful, I'm probably gonna say it again." I like J. Lou.
I'm
I
probably
love
gonna
his
say it
attitude.
again.
I
I've been in
love
that
his
dude's corner
attitude.
since day one, dude. And now he's been your most consistent defensive player this year. Facts. He has been your most consistent defensive player. This secondary is
Hey,
getting
over.
cooked without him right now.
Yeah, you're right. And that intensity that he brings to the table, I think that's infectious, much like Overshown's intensity. Those
Dude,
kind of guys
Der-
are.
Derrick Henry has what, 70 pounds on him? J. Lou can't be a buck 80, buck 85.
Mhm.
He crashed down and stuck that dude right in his damn ribs. Um, he probably could have been killed, but he was he
Mhm.
was trying to make a play. And he's got that, talk about we need more dogs. That dude's been a dog. And
He's
that's
definitely has the dog in him. He backs down from nobody. Nobody. He doesn't back down. So that day one when he was going back and forth for Dez, that's what really made the aura of Jordan Lewis appeal to us, because he was basically like, "F you, Dez. I don't give a hell who you are," and that's why we really came to love him. And just like Big Dow 8604, it's not fake. It's all real. Like, it's not. Oh,
no,
I'm doing this for the TV. I'm doing for this for the show. That's what he really is about. He is really about that life. And
no, that
you
man will
know,
fight you.
yeah.
That man will fight
Uh,
you.
Yeah, it will definitely. And like you said, you need those type of people, especially on your defense. And to your point, just like you said, um, him, Overshown have been kind of like tone setters on the team this year, as far as that intensity that they bring to the table, and it's kind of infectious. But I also want to talk about a couple guys. Well, no,
Yes, sir.
let's talk with this offense because let's talk about that Jalen
Let me
Tolbert
cut
because
my
you
light.
just mentioned
Keep talking. I'm gonna cut my lights on.
it. Okay,
Jalen
so
Tolbert.
we was talking about Jalen Tolbert on the show Wednesday. I asked you the question, Mike. I said, "Hey, Brandon Cooks is out. Jalen Tolbert, can he be that number two? We've been he's been pretty good already early this year. Can this be his breakout game? We talked about last Wednesday. Could this be his breakout game Sunday? Could it be his breakout game Sunday? And guess what? It was his breakout game Sunday. He
We
turned
said it
up.
had to be.
It had to be. It
It had
had
to
to
be.
be.
You didn't have a. You didn't have a choice.
You have no choice. You didn't have a choice. Now let's say this.
And yes,
He has
sir.
a couple more games like that, Mike. Does he slide in that number two role, and then you move a Brandon Cooks maybe to a slot or anything like that? Does he slide into that role?
Man, I don't. I, can I, man, can I default on the Brandon Cooks part of that, please?
Okay.
Just want. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to get in trouble. Um,
Okay.
Let me just. So as far as Tolbert goes, you know, that's what we've been wanting to see, and we talked. It's his third year, and this is why I talk about you draft a running back and a wide receiver in the first 2 days every single year. Sometimes you might not be able to get them both, but you take one of the two every single year because this is what you
Mm-hmm.
get, the conveyor belt
Mm-hmm.
of talent. Tolbert goes out there, springs his nuts, which I didn't even know was a thing, and then makes a game winning play, and then
And he
this
stayed
shout
in.
out to
That's the thing.
yeah,
He stayed
yeah,
in. They were saying, "No, I'm staying in." That was huge. That was big
dude,
time right there.
you hit me in my nuts. I need 20 minutes. I need 20 minutes and a glass of water and an ice pack and a bucket because I'm a vomit. Anybody that's ever been hit in the nuts, no, dude, that shit sucked. I'd rather you punch me dead in my nose than hit me in the nuts. I'm
Mm-hmm.
dead ass serious on that one too. I've been hit in the nose plenty
Mm-hmm.
of times. Let's just say the damn thing. So
Mm-hmm.
don't hit me in my nuts, man. don't don't do it, man. You sit there. Then you got to go play football. You got to go catch the game winning pass. That's
With
that
the
is
defender
that
draped all over you.
that is what Dak Prescott said. He said, "You grew up today, baby." Is
Mm-hmm.
what he said. The sound of the sidelines. And shout out to the Dak yard. Shout out to the guy we were talking about it all off season and last off season. That dude has been living at Dak's house. I mean, not literally, but the house that no longer exists, but it's still the Dak yard's still there. It's going to get upgraded, by the way. They're going to take it to 80 yards. Um, but that's the product of that. In that moment, he knew that CeeDee Lamb took three defenders with him when he
Mm-hmm.
came from that left side. He took three defenders with him. They were tripling him. Now you got the rub route. The only thing that other defender could do was he tried to shove Lamb and fuck the route up, which heads up play, but it didn't work. Tolbert does a little wiggle, make sure he's shout out to Dalton Schultz, make sure he's in the end zone and catches it. Boom. That is that is a that's that's hitting puberty, is what that is for his
Mm-hmm.
NFL career. That's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what that game was.
And that's a confidence builder going forward too.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. That's a big
You
boy
feel me?
play, big boy throw. That's a big boy everything. That is what the Ravens do to people. That's what the Steelers do to people. That is you went out there and you out Steelered the Steelers.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Take this question right here from Poku fan 499. Holla, shout out to you. Appreciate you. Says right here, Mike, can you speak on to why you think Charlotte would be our best option post Jerry? I remember
Hmm.
she allegedly keyed in getting the first
I
was
got you.
key in getting the first tack down. You heard it. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. The reason is she doesn't give a shit about football. She doesn't want to be a football guy. She doesn't think she's football guy. If Charlotte we this little game of succession that is soon to play out because I mean, there's no way he's make. I mean, he's 83,
Mhm.
like, and he's lived a hard life. That man's still drinking brown at 83 years old. You
Mhm.
know, then again, he is a billionaire, so he made live to 114.
Mhm.
But Charlotte is like the Rams owner, or even the Clippers owner, or hell, I'm just trying to come up with with ownership that does not want to be involved. They want you to
Mhm.
run the organization. They want to collect the check, and they're involved enough to know that if you're not winning, you need to go. But if you're consistently winning, then what's the problem? Is there a linear path of progression here? The Ravens owner, um, this these owners that you don't even know their name, and that is who you want running the team. With Catboy, it will be he wants to be football guy. He's going to be in the hallways. He's going to be stopping by the defense. Hey, Overshown, how's that bench looking? That how's the you know how's the house coming along? Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to hear that. Charlotte will be they'll put her ivory tower. Will McClay has one line of communication, not four, where he's got to call Adam Paprika, he's got to call Catboy, he's got to call Jerry, he's got to call Jerry's assistant because sometimes Jerry don't remember where his phone is. So
Mhm.
now you have this streamlined process versus this fragmented, this thing where it always feels like the team makes a good step in one direction, but always wants to go over here too. Like
Mhm.
you let DeMarco Murray go, smart. Didn't pay him, smart. Got 1,500 yards all purpose out of Derek McFadden, smart, right? Didn't even have a quarterback. You got 1,500 out of Derek McFadden, fucking awesome, right? That's a good year.
Mhm. Mhm.
You turn that around and you go take Zeke at 104. Like, did you not just do we do we not just all watch the same thing, and then it's still playing out to this day with the Jones boys and Zeke. That's that's their that's their adopted son. That dude's a made man like Jason Witten, and you won't
Mhm.
have that shit. You won't have that shit with Charlotte. So I
I
hope that
agree.
answers your question.
I agree. I agree. Let's talk about that defensive front
Yes,
because we
sir.
had guys. You just talked about Nealon going out early, and we were like, "Ah, damn!" But guess what? Carl Lawson came in. Um, uh, oh gosh, Carl Lawson.
Irish Wheat.
Who's my Tyrus Wheat? Who's my
Yes,
man on
sir.
the inside that we used to have, and he's back with us. 92. What the hell? Somebody tell
Linval
me.
Joseph. Linval Joseph.
No, not Linville. He's 93. Um, damn it. 92.
You got me. You got me twisted up now.
No, it's on the tip of my tongue. Carlos Watkins.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot they brought
Carlos
him back.
Watkins. Yeah, yeah. He's played good. He's
Dude,
played.
that game,
pre-
I'm gonna be flat out honest. I haven't had a chance to watch that game back, and that motherfucker went entirely too late. I
Yes, yes. Carlos Watkins. Thank y'all in there. But Lawson, Watkins, Tyrus Wheat, even
Lawson had a
Mozzie.
good game.
Lawson had a good game. Lawson had a very good game, and he's an established defensive end pass rusher. So how do you feel about those guys up front as they head against these Detroit Lions against that offensive firepower? Do you think they'll be able to hold up with that rotation? Did Dallas got to get tricky? Do we got to blitz? What do you think we need to do against them lines, especially with the defense on the men like this?
And I'm torn. Honestly, I still try to piece it together. Um, because it could go one or two ways, and whichever way you pick, if it works out, you're smart. And if it doesn't work
Mm-hmm.
out, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wants to ball control this damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a stingy ass
Keep
defense
that
on the back
offense.
end.
Keep that off. Yeah. Keep that
Yeah,
offense off the field.
that's a stingy defense on the back end, and your patchwork offensive line, and they flat out have more artillery than you do.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me wants to keep it close, but then the other side of me is like, man,
Can we stay with them in a shootout though?
if you can get the ball, that's where Bland, if he's coming back, we talked about it last week. I said he's probably coming back this game, and he practiced full today. It's only Wednesday. Um, if you're full practice on Wednesday, that leads me to believe that you're going to be, maybe if it's limited snaps, you're going on Sunday. Like if we got
Mm-hmm.
the limited in practice today, and we got a limited tomorrow, and we got a full practice on Friday, which is just a walkthrough, that he ain't going. Um,
Mm-hmm.
being a full practice on Wednesday leads me to believe he's going. Um, and I would like to see this offense put 40, because I think that's what you need to win. And
I think that's going to be
yeah,
tough, in my opinion. For us to get 40, I just feel like that's going to be tough because everything has to be kind of
yeah,
be perfect. Because yes, we got CD Lamb, but I don't feel like we're that explosive as were in years past. I don't think the offense is as explosive as in year past. You don't have the serious running game. Yes, Jalen Tolbert stepped up, and that was huge. But still relying on CD Lamb, Jake Ferguson. You don't have the real explosion to go deeper. Although, Mike, Cavante Turpin, Cavante Turpin, talk to me.
and that's
Remember, I
what I
told you
keep
don't
coming
give up
back
on
to.
him. I told you don't
Uh,
give up on him, Mike.
even if he's a decoy, like I don't, to this day, and I've looked at that pass several times over. I don't think that told that Turpin was the number one option on that seam pass. I really don't. I really don't. He just saw he had him beat, and he could look off the he looked off the safety and sent it. I really don't think he was the number one option. Dak was choking the left side, and I'm gonna have to look over it again, but I really don't think he was the first option, which says a lot, because now you can use that dude if he's gonna go catch that pass like that. You're not just gonna let him run past you.
I
You got to
told you
put
don't give
somebody
up on
on
him,
him.
Mike.
Oh,
I
I
told you
mean,
don't.
I can give up on him all I want, but by give up, like I'm not. I never said that he couldn't play. I just said that he wasn't, this Devin Hester guy that y'all were expecting. That's,
But
I
I
think
said
that's
he
fair.
can. He can open up that offense a little bit because of his speed, the
Yeah,
quickness.
he's
Obviously,
the only thing you got.
obviously, yeah,
I
he
wish
is
they
the
would
only
have
thing you
signed
got,
Mims.
but you got to use him.
I wish they would have signed Mims.
Uh,
They got old boy. They signed the other old dude that caught that pass over Boss Van Gat. I can't off the Denver's practice squad. Uh, but I think yeah, they keep y'all quit talking about Ben Johnson. I know damn well who Ben Johnson is. Hurts my damn heart that he's not here. I've been talking about that man for 5 damn years. Leave me alone.
all right. Well,
So,
so double comes with the $2 holla. He says if Mike McCarthy's getting fired, which he's not. He's not going to get fired this year. He's going to play out his contract and it won't get renewed. So he's not going to get fired. So Jerry don't have to do that.
oh,
But if his contract doesn't get renewed,
technicalities.
yeah, yeah, technicalities.
Okay.
Who would be your top choice by this question? Mike McCarthy does not come back. Just to throw it out there right quick before we talk about a few other things. Who do you think will be a number one choice?
For me or for Dallas?
for Dallas. Let's think how they would think.
For Dallas,
Would it be somebody old, or would it be one of these newer people? What would it be? An old school, or would it be a up and comer? Would they take a chance on that? Just that's really my question to it.
dude, knowing this team like I know this team, it's Zimmer.
If it's Zimmer, I'm good. I'm done. I done
I
already said it multiple times. If it's Mike
show,
Zimmer, I'm
show,
done.
show
Done.
me the lie. Show me the
I'm not
lie
showing.
there.
I totally agree with you. I told you as soon as they hired him that he would be the next coaching session, especially if that defense plays well. Remember, we talked about it, Mike. I told you
Hmm.
if that defense plays well and the offense doesn't, they're going to go to him because they're familiar with him. He's been a head coach. He's been in their program. I just feel like they would do that, and I would be totally out on that. I'm good if he becomes the head coach. I'm totally cool. I'm done. I'm not on that. I'm not on that. Okay, it's great that
Out of
he's the
pocket.
defensive coordinator, but I do not want no old ass Jared Hall coach like him. No.
Out of pocket for them would be Al Harris.
Yeah, that would be out of pocket. A black head coach in Dallas, that would
Well,
definitely
it's
be
not
out of
even
pocket.
that. They already know they
Well,
can
that is with
control it. He's
me.
been here. He's been here.
True.
He's been here. He knows what they want. And I've said this when I say the calls come inside the house. I'm not saying that they come down
That
there
would
and
not
throw.
be that would
Uh,
not be a good hire to me.
nope,
That would not be a good
nope.
because he would
Because
just be
they
a
already
straight puppet.
he knows
Yeah,
what they want,
that would
and
be a terrible hire.
you're gonna do what they want, or they'll find somebody who will.
Hmm.
That's
That
simple.
would be a terrible hire. That would be a terrible hire. Not
The only
because I don't
coach
think
they've
Al.
hired, the only head coach they've hired in my lifetime since Jimmy Johnson that actually bucked the kind of system was Parcells. And
Yeah.
Jerry needed Parcells because Parcells was on the competition committee and he helped them get the new stadium built. That's the only reason he was here. And Jerry hated every second that he was here. You get the famous story about DeMarcus Ware and Sean Merriman in the draft, where I get to take Miss Jones on a flight. I get the whole private plane thing. It's they hated each other, but they Jerry needed him, and ever
Hmm.
since then, it's been like no, I mean literally putzes. Oh, Sal ain't
What do you
coming.
think
Where's
about
Sal
that?
at?
Yes, he's
For
not coming
DC?
here. Nah, he ain't coming here. They ain't gonna pick him up. No, they're not taking no outsider like that. Um,
Mm-mm.
yeah, I don't know. They probably
Maybe.
could
Hey,
sell
you know
him
what?
because they
Maybe.
could sell him.
Oh
I mean, they
God, no! I just thought about it.
what?
They promote shoddy.
Ugh, ugh.
They
No,
don't want change, dude. I'm not
I
talking
know, but
about what makes sense.
I,
I'm talking
I know.
if it were me, I go get Joe Brady, I go get Ben Johnson, I go get even Wes Welker, make them OC/HC because don't hire defensive coordinators for your head coach. You don't do it.
Yep.
Period. You
Mm-mm,
don't
mm-mm.
don't you don't do it. So, but they don't want anybody that's going to challenge them at all. They like to know they want to come to work every day. They don't want any surprises. They want the Cowboys football. I mean, we've seen it, man. Like, there's 30 years of this. It's not like I'm pulling this out of thin air.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of hires we'd love to make. You know what I mean? I would.
Mm-hmm.
There's hires I would love to make. Dude, I would have taken Harbaugh in a heartbeat over McCarthy
Oh
in a
yeah.
heartbeat, in a
I would
heartbeat.
took
But you know,
I'd have took Harbaugh
and
too. I would have took Harbaugh too.
and and they don't want to deal with that because Harbaugh's going to tell them to eat shit.
Mm-hmm. Jason Witten. Hell no.
Oh my God, I will jump off. I will. I only have a 17-foot ladder, but I will jump off that bitch. I swear,
So would
I'm
I.
gonna jump off.
I'm gonna jump
I'm
it
gonna
off. I'm
jump
gonna
off that
jump
bitch
off. With,
too.
I'm jumping off with Zimmer too, bro. If they hire Zimmer,
No, dude.
bro, I said it. I'm telling you, I said it. I don't have the premium X. That's the first thing I said when they hired him, that he would be the next head coach if he has any kind of a decent year. And the defense is already. And look at it. The defense playing well without the stars. Oh, that's just fueling the fire, dog. If they don't keep him and they bring old as Zimmer as the head coach, I'm telling you. I agree with you. Zimmer would be the guy just because he's been with the program, he's been a head coach, he's been successful, and if he has any kind of success with his D, that's what they're going to go, because they're going to go with something they trust, and they're not going to go outside of their box because they're scary. Particularly Stephen Jones, he's a scary ass, and he's baby nuts, and because he's baby nuts, he's not going to jump out there and grow some nuts and actually go out there and get somebody real. He's going to go with the safe side, and if he goes with that safe side, I ain't watching no damn dollars. That's all I'm saying. So, but let's keep on talking about this. Detroit. Let's talk about this Detroit game. Obviously, you said this might be a shootout. You want to ball control it. Um, what do you think? What do you think? Who do you think is going to be on our offensive side? Do you think a Rico Dowdle can have another game like that? Detroit's defense is okay. It's not great.
I think Ferg eats this game. Their linebackers play downhill, but they can't cover with the shit. Their secondary is good, but their secondary should be preoccupied if you have a half decent plan. Because if you're not doubling CD Lamb every play, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's no different than
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson or AJ Brown or name the guy. If you're not doubling them or at least bracketing them every single play, what are you doing? Because if you don't put somebody on top of them, they're going to be open, and you're hoping your pass rush gets home, which blitz Dak at your own peril. Blitz Dak
Mm-hmm.
at your own peril. That man,
Mm-hmm.
that man's chewed on the blitz for 8 years now. So
Yeah. Do you think Tolbert has another good game? You think he stacks the
I
games?
think he needs.
I
Oh,
think he does.
I think if he doesn't have 50 yards, they lose.
Who, Tolbert?
Yeah,
Does CD have to have one of them games like he did in the last Detroit game? Does he have to have a
I
100-yard
do.
game?
I I need 10 catches and 180 yards and 2 touchdowns for CD.
He's got him and Dak got to be those
I
guys
I
this game.
I need it. I need it. I need it. Other that, or you got to go ball control. Like I'm talking about, the ball control
Hmm.
leaves you no margin for error. Like if you want to
Hmm.
grind out another Pittsburgh game,
You got
like
to
fine,
score.
but you can't be dicking around when you get to the end zone. We're
Right.
talking about
Can't be field goals.
uh, Dak he came to the sideline. He said, "Damn, 12 plays." I think one of them was 19 play. They had a 19 play drive.
No, I think there was 16 and one was like 16 for 90, and the other, I think the game winning drive was like 12 or 13 play drive.
And that gives me that gives me confidence that you know it's almost like I've talked about it with kind of like the Drew Brees last year with New Orleans, where that
Hmm.
short passing game and that under game is now your run game.
Hmm.
You get it in Luke, get it in Hunter's hands. Hunter, that dude, all he knows how to do is get the perfect amount of yards that you need whenever you need it. You get him the ball, and he goes and gets you the yards he needs, and then he comes back to the huddle.
Hmm.
And if you can do those 15 play drives with the ball control, which once again leaves you no margin for error, and keep that damn high powered offense off the field, because we can't send Micah, we can't send Tank, we can't send anybody. We're down four edges.
Hmm.
So
Now,
yes,
let me
sir.
get this quick shout out. This 199 holler from my guy Eli. I think his last super chat was, "Who wins this matchup this week if they're matched up? Do you have J. Lou or Amon Ra?"
Uh, well, Raw's going to be on Diggs.
Diggs is probably going to travel with him, but
Yeah.
he might be dealing with the Williams kid though, right? He
Hmm.
might deal with him, and that boy got some speed. He's
Yeah,
not
that's
polished or
probably going
anything
to be.
like that, but he's got a deep threat. He's a deep threat.
That's. I would figure they're going to make Diggs shadow St. Brown.
Hmm.
So Williams and the other. They still got Reynolds. Is this Reynolds?
I think
No,
Reynolds is the running
Laporta.
back. I think Porter.
You got Laporta, the tight end, which I don't know what you're going to do with that. That may be the one that kills you
Hmm. You
because
don't you don't feel good about
I don't
our
know.
linebackers?
Well, they're going to have so much on their plate with the run game and being four edge rushers down.
Hmm.
So that's kind of why I'm saying the ball control, keep them off the field, you know, grind out a win. So I mean, I just don't know. I don't know in a shootout unless Goff is going to have one of those. He's due for a letdown though because he did have a perfect game. So
Hmm.
law of averages, you know, um, what's the odds? Dallas goes 0-4 at home.
Dallas is better on the road anyway. Let's keep it real. That
Okay,
16 game win streak the last 2 years wasn't nobody hyping that, as I wasn't. It was cool thing, but I was never
you
hyping that.
think
Dallas is always to me better on the
you think
road to
they
me. I
okay?
don't.
You think they go 0-4 at home?
They could, because we don't have no home field. Dallas don't have no home field advantage for me. Not
I'm
me.
just I'm just saying we know Dallas and we know these records and we know this shit. Like when they talked about how they were 13-0 or 16-0 at home, we knew they were going to lose.
Hmm.
We knew it.
Hmm. We knew it.
What's the odds? What's the odds they go 0-4 at home versus winning this game? That's that's what I run up against. Not the matchups, not I just go up against the football god law of averages with this team, and I do not see them going 0-4 at home. I just don't.
Well, don't we got Washington? We got what? Yeah, we. I mean, you're gonna beat the Giants. I think you beat Washington at home too. I think you beat
I'm
Philly at
talking.
home.
I'm talking about since last season. They lost. They lost. They lost. They lost. They're 0-4 at home. Their last four home games they've lost.
Hmm.
So I guess it would be 0-5 at home.
Hmm.
Damn, that's even worse. I'm sorry, I was just piecing that together. That'd make them because they lost to Baltimore, they lost to Saints, they lost to
Hmm.
San Francisco.
Hmm.
No, 0-4, 0-4.
How do you feel about the Lions game?
You need. I'd say you need to win it, but do you really?
No, you can be 3-3 at the break, right? Well, don't, they got the bye right
Yeah,
after this, right?
yeah, yeah. You're
Oh, and I
chilling.
think I had a question here. Somebody asked. Let me pull it up. He said, "Do you think they're forcing Bland back, or do you think he's okay? Do you think they're pushing it ahead? Because I remember you saying, I think it was last week that you said that you rather him go after the bye. If I was saying that correctly, or maybe I might be wrong."
You're not misquoting me, but he has been on the bans the last 3 weeks. He hasn't been able to
Hmm.
participate in practice until this week, but he's been on the
Hmm.
he's been on the bans and stuff with Britt. Um, and when I say they're on the vans, that's different than a rehab assignment. They're not just doing little foot up, foot down, foot up, foot down. That man's got a 80-pound band on you and making you drag him across the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, you need him, and I don't think they're pushing it. And I have to actually check the date, but I think we're right at 8 weeks. I think we're right at 8 weeks from when the injury happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, football players play football, and if it's a pain tolerance issue, go play.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, straight up.
Man, I
Toss it
don't know
on
how
that
to
bit.
feel about this game, Mike. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know how to feel about this
It's
game.
a
It's a
tough one, man.
wonky
It's a
game.
fighting Dan
It's a
Campbell,
wonk. It,
and
yeah, this is
they're going to
it's a
be mad
wonky
as
game.
hell because they're going to be mad as hell because we sent them home last year, you know, and Dan Campbell, he already said it. He's gonna. That's my coach. That is. You want to talk about who I want to hire? That would be my coach.
Oh yeah.
But that man's gonna. You know that when you strap up on game day, you got a fucking fight on your
Well,
hands.
I would love
No
to have a
matter
coach
what day
like
of the week
him.
it is.
I would love to have a
That
coach like him.
that dude. So, and Detroit don't appreciate him, so we'll take him. Man had to sell his house because he lost a playoff game. That's why you can't have shit in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So I take him in a heartbeat. But
Mm-hmm.
I just know that they're gonna come to play, and I think that this defense needs to get a couple takeaways, or it's going to be a long day in the office, regardless of what the
Mm-hmm.
offensive game plan is. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I rest my case on that one, sir.
I feel you. I feel you on that. Like I said, this is a weird, wonky game. To your point, we do got to get some turnovers. I don't think they're really going to be in that backfield like that. And I feel like Goff will get the pass off. I worry about Gibbs. I worry about him because him and Reynolds that backfield that's some problems right there. So I worry about that them in the run game and then setting up the play action and hitting us with that. I worry about a shootout because I don't feel like Dallas can win this shootout. Just in my opinion, I feel like to your point, Mike, I think it has to be more ball control, and we got to score. Dallas has to score touchdowns though. If it's going to be a ball control game, you must. If you're doing 11 play, 12 play drive, you got to end those with touchdowns. You have to
Yeah,
because if you're taking 12, 13 play
we can't
drives,
have
it's
four
not going
red
to
zone
work.
trips and three field goals. You can't have that. You can't have four red zone trips and three field goals. Can't happen.
Hmm. It's going to be a long day if it does.
So
No, sorry. I'm taking Dan Campbell all day.
yeah, I mean he's better than Mike McCarthy, which ain't saying much, but
Yeah,
he's better than
yeah.
Mike
He's definitely better than Mike McCarthy. As far as, I'm not saying he's the greatest X and O's guy, but that intensity, I know it's more than intensity. But
This
and I'm
team
not
always
saying
shows up to play.
yeah, every time. But I like Mike, but I like Dan. I like Dan Campbell when he first got hired on with Detroit. I was like, that was a great hire because you give him some time, you work with him because you saw the little bit at Miami, right? You saw how the team rallied around
Mhm.
him, and you're just like, you get him with an organization that really believes he gonna be a good coach. And hell, they got talent. Look where you got him. Regardless what anybody says in here, hey, that's cool. Y'all have your own opinions. I like Dan Campbell. I've always liked him, even when he was a player with the Dallas Cowboys. I liked him when he was a tight end here. So um, I like Campbell. So we'll see, Mike. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Like you said, it can get away from him real quick. It can get away from him real quick. But I think the ball control thing, which you talked about, I think Dallas has to go that route. But we need to score touchdowns because I don't think they can win a shootout against Detroit. Not from my opinion. I don't think they can win a shootout.
I mean, we're talking, and it's a big game because pretend it's not. We're not going to pretend it's not. Doesn't necessarily matter as far as the division goes, but it still matters. You think Detroit ain't worried about seeing Dak Prescott on Sunday? I guarantee you
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell is. I guarantee you Dan Campbell has lost sleep thinking about Dak Prescott on Sunday. So there's two sides of this coin. You know, we don't have the artillery they do, but we got a better quarterback. We arguably have the better number one wide receiver. Tight ends about tied. The run game's better. Our corners
And
should
their,
be
I
better.
think their offensive line is better too.
Yeah, well, our offensive line's busted all to hell. So that
Hmm. But I don't think their defense is as great. I think it's good, but it's not a great defense. So you can
no,
definitely
it's
move
not.
the ball
It,
on
you
them.
can, they are, they're 20. I think I looked it up. They're 21st in drop back EPA. The bad news is Dallas is 31st.
Mm.
So I mean, it's a good game. Like no matter what happens, it'll be just like the Steelers. If Dallas wins, it won't matter. If Dallas loses, we lost to bums.
Hmm.
Rinse repeat.
I, I mean, are we going to say right now in the NFC, Detroit is the best team in the NFC right now? Right
Hell
now, as
no.
of right now, who's the
Hell
best
no.
team in the NFC right now? Who's the best team in the NFC right now?
It's still the Niners.
Okay,
It's still the Niners. That defense is just unreal, dude. And all that quarterback has two horseshoes up his ass.
that
All
defense
he
ain't
has
been
to
looking so great, dog. I
they're
ain't gonna
number
jump
two.
on that
They're
train.
number two in drop back EPA. I looked it up.
That EPA shit, I don't be looking at all that shit all
Okay.
the time, dog.
Green Bay ain't the best, and the NFC.
Hell
Hell,
no. In the whole NFC, no. I'm gonna say the Lions
hell,
are better than the Niners right now. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say the Lions are better than Minnesota.
if you would talk about frauds, hell, the Chiefs may be the biggest frauds in the whole damn league. How in the hell are they 5-0? Have y'all watched them play? Have you watched them play?
Hey, Minnesota's been playing, but I'm not gonna say they're fraudulent. Not gonna call them
I've
frauds,
just seen
but
I've seen the
I
Sam
feel
Darnold.
like that. Yeah, I feel like that's that. We've seen the. Give it some time. Let's give that some time. We've
We're in
seen the
October.
Sam Darnold show. Let's give it some time.
How
I'm
about
not
this? Well,
hyping
we
Minnesota
can
right now. I'm
we
sorry.
can set the date. We can set the date. Our first show in the first week of November. I will tell you who the best teams in the NFC and the AFC are because we're just now to the regular season. Everything's going to start to level off. You get in October, things start to level off. The teams that didn't get a lot of reps together, you had guys missing, you had holdouts, you had new staff, you had new players, you got new schemes, you got all this stuff swirling about that you're figuring out on live time. We're just now in October. Let know the first week of November, we'll know who the best teams in the AFC and the NFC are. At least I will.
Yeah, it'll definitely figure itself out, but we're gonna see. But shout out to everybody in the building. We're getting ready to close here. Shout out, we got 100 in the building, 102 actually in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Um, yeah, I don't think this is one of those must-win games. If they do lose, Dallas will be okay. 3-3 headed into the bye, going to San Francisco. I still think they will be okay, win or lose. I'm not wanting them to lose, but the end of the world is not if you lost to the Lions. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
You're just another team that's going to be 3-3 or 4-3 or 3-4. If you're still just all knotted up right there in the middle.
And the NFC, yeah, like I said, let's see about the Minnesota thing because I'm still not gonna believe that little hype train about them right now. I feel like they're gonna come down to earth, and so will Sam Darnold. I don't know if he comes crashing down to
And
earth, but he's gonna come down
and
to earth
The Washington defense is 32nd in the league coming into this weekend before they had played Deshaun Watson. So take that as you will. They were giving up almost 5.5 EPA per play on dropback before they played Deshaun Watson.
for
So
sure. It's
take
gonna
that
be
as you will.
interesting. What For real, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting game. I'm not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
tripping on this game. It's gonna be to me, it's just gonna be a very interesting game, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we don't know what Cowboys team is gonna be there. I think that's the interesting thing is we don't know what Cowboys team is gonna show up that day.
The
Would you
important
would you
thing
would you
is,
be agreeing with me with that?
yeah, for sure. The important thing is that Philly's going to lose on Sunday to Cleveland, and all hell's going to break loose.
I would love to see that. I would
Chaos.
absolutely. That would be
Oh, dude,
hell
hey,
and chaos.
tell me Jalen Hurts is ready for Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, but we know who we got on the Browns who got on their side. And that's the only thing that's going to keep Philly in that game because that damn quarterback play. That's
Dude, he
crazy.
is,
That's
dude. They
crazy.
should have. That
That's
defense tried and
crazy.
tried and
That's
tried and
crazy.
tried. He is terrible. He is terrible.
I know you
He's
loving it too,
absolute.
ain't you? You are loving it.
Oh,
Yeah, you are loving it, ain't you? You're just eating it up, ain't you?
oh man, couldn't beat the smile off my face with a fucking '85 Chevy. Fucking bomb.
As soon as I seen him struggling, I said, Mike over there just doing cartwheels right now, loving this.
Oh man, I had to hear it for years. Michael Jordan of football. The Michael Jordan of football. That fucking bomb. Ah, man, that
That's
makes me laugh.
hilarious. Uh, uh, that's hilarious. Every time I watch him, I think of you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I watch him, I think of you. Every time he throws a bad pass, I'm like, Mike over there just loving it. He probably just turned the
Brand.
TV on just to watch him
Dude,
play like shit.
just watch what Mark Cooper sees. He's got the doubles beat by 3 yards, and the ball just falls 2 feet in front of him, and he's like,
For real. For real. Yeah, definitely for real. That's hilarious. But hey,
oh,
we'll see what's going to go down this Sunday, 4 p.m. It's going to be a good game. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be interesting to see. But this
I
isn't
think it's
some
first
like
to
no.
40.
If it's first to 40, Dallas ain't winning that, in my opinion.
Uh,
Just me.
if the ball control, like I'm giving myself an out here, if the ball control don't work, it's first to 40.
Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna be us, not my opinion. Ball control, we got to ball
No,
control that game. We got to ball
you
control it.
have to.
First
We're,
thing,
we're,
when you first spit that ball control out, I was with you 100%. We got to slow this
we're
game down, keep them off the field, and score touchdowns when they get in that red zone.
That don't mean we got to run on 2nd and 8. That means we have to move, change. We have to
Hmm.
move, change. Swing pass here, dump off here,
And
screen pass here.
Dak is playing his ass off no matter what anybody's saying. I've been watching him. I'm gonna be honest before we get off of here, Mike.
Probably his best year.
It is. I mean, listen, I've been you know me, Mike. You've been like, I know you hate Dak. So it ain't. If I'm giving him the props and stuff, I don't hate Dak. But when I watch him this year, and I watch him with that offense, the man's got total control of that offense. It's his offense as far as how he works with it. And I'm just saying, like, I ain't gonna lie, Mike. When I used to watch Dak Prescott, I used to be uncomfortable. I used to always be on edge when I used to watch Dak in his early years because I never knew what he was gonna do. I didn't feel like he was gonna make those crucial passes or make those clutch plays. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not in that realm right now. When I watch him play, I have confidence he can take it down the field. We just got to give him some time and line give him some plays, and that can take it down the field and carve a team up. He really, really can.
And just cut out the pre-snap penalties, and that
Hmm.
man can walk you down the field.
He
He
can.
can
I
absolutely
can.
walk you down the field.
I can honestly say he definitely can, and he will spread that ball around and get it to all everybody he needs to, and he makes plays. So I
That
like how
looked
he's
like
running this off in command of it.
that looked like to me, and as I'm everybody knows, I'm probably Dak's number one fan on the internet or whatever the hell you want to say. That game on Sunday looked like late career Tom Brady in New England, just walking the team down the field, just walking the team down the field, and
And
no matter what you just boom, you're like, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. The only difference is Dak Prescott didn't need a kicker to bail him out at the end. He threw the pass to win the game. So
mhm. Get this last question out from Popeye Peach. He says, "Do we keep the same line rotation? Are we
we
talking
don't
offensive line or defensive line?
you don't have a choice on
Off,
either really.
yeah, offensive line. I mean, is Guyton's going to be good? We haven't heard anything for him, so
Don't know yet.
if not, we know what it is. You're kicking Tyler
Yeah.
Smith at left tackle. TJ Bass is going at that guard position, and you got Brock Hoffman in that rotation. There it is.
Leave my little sweet BB alone. Leave my sweet little
Yeah,
Connor BB
and,
alone right there in the middle.
yeah, yeah. I don't
That
think they're
dude
touching him. I think
that
he's
dude's
really
been a wonder.
established himself. Yeah.
That dude has been
I,
a wonder.
hmm He has. He's been a great. He's been great. That's all I can say. But he was
You don't hear
one of
Dak
the people that we were less concerned about him. You don't hear Dak saying one thing about him.
you don't hear Dak doing 27 seconds of audibles and checks pre-snap. BB's got it. It's
And we
just
saw those tough runs up the middle, and that's BB who's helped push making that push.
he doesn't have reverse, dude. He doesn't have reverse.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
just wanted to give him his flowers so we got off of here. Dan, we done read
Yeah.
112. I'm about to piss my pants. We got to get up on
Hmm.
out here. I need some food.
I'm with you, big dog.
Hey, love everybody for checking in. I'll let you sign us out, homie.
Well, hey, you know what it is. It's Burgers and Blitzes, Big Game James, Mike White. You know what it is. Make sure you check out that game Sunday, and we'll be back here next Wednesday to talk about hopefully the victory and 4-3 heading into the bye. Go eat, big dog. I'll talk to you soon. Love you, man.
Peace. Thank you. Love you. Us.
Shout out to everybody in the building. We'll talk to you next week. Burgers and Blitzes next Wednesday. Hopefully, it's a Cowboys victory, 4-3 heading into the bye as they get ready to play the Niners. Appreciate everybody that was in the building. We had a steady 100 in the building, so appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the super chats, shout outs, super chats, all that good stuff. And we'll be talking to you soon. I'm Big Game James.